For the 43rd time in the great history of open-wheel racing in Southern California, the streets of Long Beach would roar to life for round 2 of Verizon IndyCar Series action in 2017. I'm Nick Yeoman from the Advanced Auto Parts IndyCar Radio Network with the exciting highlights of the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. In a race that historically doesn't see a lot of caution flags, it didn't take long to see the first of the day. While Scott Dixon would charge to the lead from the second starting position on the opening lap, Charlie Kimball and Will Power would bounce off each other on lap 1, with Kimball getting the worst of the accident. The day would end early for the driver from Camarillo, California. Power's team, they'd replace the front wing, but the two-time Long Beach winner wasn't a factor the rest of the day. The early mover was defending Verizon IndyCar champ Simon Pagenaud. In the opening 30 laps, the 2016 Long Beach winner would dice his way through the field, driving from his last place starting position to a very respectable 5th at the end of the event. As Pagenaud would carve his way through the field, a trend would begin to develop involving the Andretti Autosport Hondas, starting with Marco Andretti, whose car would suddenly slow around the streets of Long Beach. A trio of Hondas would attempt to hit fuel numbers and do the race in just 2 pit stops, and on lap 28, we'd see James Hinchcliffe and Alexander Rossi pit. 1 lap later, new race leader Ryan Hunter-Reay would jump onto pit lane. For the 3rd straight year, Helio Castroneves would start the race from pole position, but unfortunately for Helio, the win would elude him for a 3rd straight year as well. Speeding penalties would relegate the likable Brazilian's day to a 9th place finish. While the leading Hondas had the fuel strategy to win, mechanical reliability would again play a role starting on lap 63. Alexander Rossi's car would lose power right when he began to challenge James Hinchcliffe for the lead. Rossi's wounded Honda would bring out the second full-course caution. Things would get wild in the final 10 laps of the race. On lap 77, Mikhail Aleshin and Tony Kanaan would make contact, flattening one of TK's tires, forcing him to limp back to pit lane. 1 lap later, Takuma Sato would slow with engine issues. The 2013 Long Beach winner would get his car to a safe position in the runoff to keep the race green, but his teammate Ryan Hunter-Reay wouldn't be as fortunate. With just 6 laps to go, Hunter-Reay would experience motor problems, and again, Andretti Autosport would lose a driver while running in the 2nd position. The race would get restarted with 4 laps to go, and some of the racing mid-pack could be considered less than friendly. Mikhail Aleshin and J.R. Hildebrand, they'd bounce off each other. Up front, there would be no stopping the mayor of Hinchtown, as James Hinchcliffe would complete his amazing comeback story from nearly losing everything at Indy 2 years ago. The victory is the 5th of Hinchcliffe's career and his first on the historic streets of Long Beach. Sebastian Bourdais and Joseph Newgarden would have quietly efficient days, grabbing the other 2 steps on the podium. Congratulations to James Hinchcliffe, the winner of the 43rd Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Next up for the Verizon IndyCar Series, it's April 23rd's Honda Indy Grand Prix of Alabama from the Barber Motorsports Park. Weekend coverage on NBC Sports Network and IndyCar Radio.